Hello, this is Susan Duclos with All News Pipeline. It is February 20th, 2017, and what we're looking at here is an NBC News story. Employees across the U.S. were fired after joining a Day Without Immigrants protest. The protest is in support of illegal immigrants, but all immigrants, or not all, the ones that participated, which was a small fraction, of immigrants decided they were just going to skip work, not bother to go into work so that they could protest. Well, a ton of them got fired. More than 100 of them got fired. Let's see. Restaurants, daycares were among the businesses in states like Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and New York where bosses fired workers after they didn't show up for work in order to protest. Let's see, Tennessee, nearly 20 employees at Bradley Coatings Incorporated, commercial painting company, were laid off after participating in a nationwide strike on Thursday. Company's attorney Robert Peel said in a statement obtained by the news station that all employees were told they risked termination if they skipped work on Thursday. 18 of them did so anyway. Let's go over to this because this is interesting. We're over at NBC4. It's the local news here. And one of the immigrants had said, "We are the team leaders directly under the supervisors, and they informed us last night we could not go back to work. The boss said we were fired." The employee asked to remain anonymous and said the workers who participated in a Day Without Immigrants plan to make up the missed day on Sunday. I would tell him he was unfair. So they're complaining that they were fired for skipping work, even though they were told beforehand that they risked termination. Now it explains whether the termination was unfair or not doesn't matter in the volunteer state. Tennessee is an employment at will state, which basically means an employer can end your employment at any time without reason or cause. Now, Bradley Coatings released a statement through the company's attorney. This is what's interesting. Bradley Coatings Incorporated is a family-owned, Nashville-based business that provides commercial painting services to its clients on a very demanding schedule. Established in 1986, BCI has always celebrated diversity and supported the immigrant community. This past Wednesday night, certain employees of BCI informed their leadership they would not be at work the following day. Because of the time-sensitive nature of the job these employees were assigned to, all employees were told they would need to show up for work or they would be terminated. So they were told. They knew it. Now, how people expect sympathy when a company depends on them to get a job done, especially if that job has a deadline, and they decide, hey, we can just skip work, and then they go out and they complain to the news about being fired? Where's the common sense here? So they continue. On Thursday, the majority of the BCI employees fulfilled their obligations to our clients, but 18 employees did not. Regretfully and consistent with its prior communication to all its employees, BCI had no choice but to terminate these individuals. The reason these employees missed work to engage in peaceful demonstrations had nothing to do with BCI's decision to terminate them. And that's the thing. It's because they didn't do their job. Any one of us doesn't do our job, we're going to be fired. If Stefan and I don't do our job, we're not going to make enough money to keep our website going. If you have a job and you're sick, you have sick days. But if you're specifically telling them, we just want to go protest, that's not a reason to miss your job, to miss your work. And they deserve to be fired, in my opinion. Let's go back to the original story here. So back to the original NBCnews.com story. Same day in Florida, several staff members at Grace Community School in Bonita Springs told NBC2 they planned to participate in Thursday's protest. Two employees claimed they were fired as a result, though the head of the school is denying that. Asked by a reporter why the cause was important, Brenda Botello, who quit on Friday because she was afraid of being fired, said, "Because we're Mexicans, we need to find another job." Okay, Now, that really didn't make much sense as to why the cause is important. Because we're Mexicans who need to find another job isn't really an answer. But hey, maybe they just didn't understand the question. At Ben's Kosher Delicatessen Restaurant and Caterers in Long Island, New York, though, 25 workers were fired on Friday when they returned to work, according to Telemundo 47. Now, this is a prime example of what is wrong here in this country. Police escorted the workers from the restaurant, most of whom were undocumented and have worked there for years. First off, I agree with the company for firing them, but that company has something wrong with them if they're hiring illegal immigrants. They can call them undocumented all they want. If they are here illegally, they're committing a crime. So why did police escort them out of the restaurant and not out of the restaurant and straight to jail? If you're here illegally, it's a crime. Those police officers should have arrested them immediately. So now, of course, liberals want to boycott these small businesses and restaurants that fired the immigrant workers. So they want to boycott a business, and it admits they're small businesses. So without their workers, they can't do their job, they can't keep their company open, they can't make any money, and now they want to boycott them for doing what is right for their company. This is the insanity of liberals these days. Now, it goes on to say local news outlets also reported that 21 employees were fired at a boat manufacturing company in South Carolina, 12 workers at an Oklahoma restaurant, 30 masonry workers in Denver. The Oklahoma restaurant, I Don't Care Bar and Grill, has already published a job posting looking to replace them. Good for them. Now let's go to see some of the reactions. Conservatives, I'll tell you right now, are feeling no sympathy for these people. BizPack Review gets the award for the best title. Poor me victims cry over getting fired for not showing up to work in support of illegal immigrants. And it's very clear. First sentence, same thing I've been saying. If you don't show up for work without the boss's permission, you get fired. I mean, it's common sense, people. So of course they explain what happened, but I just like that title. Oh, and let's see, they point out something from Ann Coulter. I have to say, when she talks, I cringe, even though I agree with a lot of what she says, because the way she says it generally is cringe inducing. She goes, "This week's The Day Without Immigrants protest was a huge success. Next year, let's do it 364 more days." Point is, it didn't do any damage. It didn't stop the economy. It was barely noticed. Others on Twitter agreed. Right, America, day without immigrants. Power still on, water still runs, McDonald's still open, and not as much traffic. Probably the best protest ever. America! Yeah, they were having fun with this. Let's see. Protest was designed to show the impact illegals not showing up. It bombed. No one cared. They got fired. Look, I, I, I have to say, in some cases, yeah, I feel for people who want to come to America for a better life, but over decades and decades and decades, people have done so legally. And they've come here, and we have all welcomed them with open arms. And you don't know how many times we see stories of those who came here legally speaking out against illegal immigration. So the media has managed to conflate this issue so badly that if you're against illegal immigration, they want people to think you hate all immigrants. It's not true. It just is not true. So, if we sound unsympathetic about these people losing their job, they shouldn't be first off falling for it, and secondly, they shouldn't be protesting the fact that we want people to come here legally. Doors open. Come through the front door. Don't sneak through the back and then expect us to feel bad for you. It's not going to happen. Have a good day, people.